Hey everyone, Noah from OfferREI here. Today I'm going to be making this video about the API, what it is, how to use it, and how to set it up for yourself. So what you're going to want to do is start by generating at least one offer with the regular web app, right? So if this is a brand new account and you just went through the billing system, for the system to work, it needs to know what your settings are for offer calculation. So for at least once, go through and generate an offer, double check your multi-tier settings for additional creative offers, check your cash and creative settings, and then just generate one offer. What that's going to do is it's going to solidify your settings into the database, and it's going to make the endpoint for generating offers work. So once you've done that at least once, go over to your account, scroll down to the bottom, and then under this developers section, you can hit this green button to generate an API key. You'll only be shown this key once, so make sure that you save it somewhere safe. You can generate other keys, but they're going to override the one that you have, so just be aware of that. Okay, so to show you the API endpoint, I'm going to be doing this in Postman. Postman's a good tool for testing out API requests. Let me pull this over here. So we're going to start with the more simple API. It's going to be, so the base domain is https://www.offerrei.com/API. So any API endpoints that I create, they're going to have that base domain. In this case, we're going to start with the test API auth endpoint. And the way this works is that you just provide a post request with no URL parameters, no authorization, no headers necessarily. Actually, there is going to be one header, and that's going to be the content type. So in Postman, just by a quirk of the way the program works, I can go into the body, select raw as my type, and then use JSON. And what that's going to do is it's going to apply a header, and it's going to be basically like this under the hood: content-type, and then under the value application /JSON. So that's happening under the hood. I'm going to get rid of it for now, but in the body, what you're going to do is you're going to have a raw body type, and it's just going to be a JSON object with one key. It's called API key, and the value is going to be your API key. And then you send this. All this is going to do is validate that your API key works. It's a good idea to do this just to make sure that your API key is connected properly. And then once you've done that, you can actually use the endpoint that you're probably wanting to use, which is create doc from API. So same deal, post request, no URL parameters, no authorization, no headers aside from the content type. And in the body, let me back this out a little bit here, show you the whole list. You're going to have this JSON object, and there are 3 keys that you must provide. So the API key, let me override that one here with the new one. The address just has to be a full address. Don't provide just like a street address, because I need the address, city, state, and zip for the program to look up that property details. And then a template name. For the template name, you can get them from your templates section in the dashboard. Let's grab the owner finance offer with balloon. Oops. And just paste over here in the template name. Then there's this section called overrides. So technically, I could get rid of this overrides just like that and send this request, and it's going to work. So you're welcome to try that, but let me bring it back. The idea behind this overrides system is that I imagine that some of you are going to be in a situation where maybe you have a market value for the property that's more accurate than the one that mine is going to generate, right? Or what the repairs is going to be. And what's going to happen under normal circumstances is that if you don't provide any of this, then it's going to use your account settings to just kind of fill in the gaps, right? So in your account, if I go over to the properties and then I click on one of these, it's going to use my cash discount of 30%, my assignment fee of 6,000. And if you didn't know, these will, you can change these and that'll remember them for the future generation. But it's just going to use those numbers. The overrides give me the ability to override them, right? So I can use repairs, a different number for that. And it's gonna use that in this particular documents generation. It's not gonna update my account, so just be aware of that. So let's talk about some of these values. So market value, that's just gonna be a dollar amount, and the values for these keys are kind of straightforward, right? If you have a dollar that you want to use, just use the dollar. If you have a percentage you want to use, just use the percentage. If you use a percentage like here in repairs, that's going to be a percentage of the market value. So some of this is true for other ones. So the cash discount amount, in the web app, you can either put in a dollar amount, right? Like I always want $10,000 cash discount. You could put in a dollar amount here as well. So I could do $10,000, or I could do, I want, if it's a wholesale deal, something like I want a 40% discount. And then you use sort of traditional 40% like that. And then it's going to take 40% of the market value. It's just running the MAO formula. So what you're going to want to do is you only want to use these as needed, right? So don't send anything over that's blank or empty. Don't send anything with like value here. So you could get rid of most of these. I'm going to get rid of them for this example, the ones that I just saved value. The only other key here that you might want to know how to format is for the amortization terms and balloon terms. So the system can work with basically years and months, or just months. And what I mean by that is, like, if you look at this amortization term months, this says 30 years, 6 months. So that means the amortization is going to be drawn out over the course of 30 years and 6 months. And then the balloon term, instead of saying 5 years, you could say 60 months if that's how you prefer to think about it. So that's what the API expects. So let me go ahead and hit send here. And it's going to cook up an offer for me. And then what you're going to get back is status 200. With the key, it's going to be something like uploaded doc URL, like that. And then the value is the direct download link for that Word document. So I'm going to click on it, and it's going to open up my browser and download it for me, and we can see, we can see the offer. There's a little bug here where I say years twice in the default template. I'm going to get rid of that. But remember, in the API, I said 30 years, 6 months. Right, that was in the request here, and that's what the amortization was calculated over. So you see why that override system is in there. The account default was probably like just 30 years. So anyways, you can now take this link and save it as a note to your CRM, or if you're using this to give sellers offers hands-free, you can send them this link for them to download. That is a Word document though, so just keep that in mind. So yeah, that's the API. If you have any questions about the way this works, feel free to reach out to me. One thing I would recommend, if you're going to be building out an integration here, Postman is a good tool to do this in. So just copy my settings here, and if you need the code to actually use, they have this ability for you to just select a language here, and it will actually give you the code that you need to execute that request in some of the most popular languages. So if I were to go to say JavaScript using the fetch, then this is what that code would be. Just a cool tool for making that API integration a little bit easier. Obviously, they've got curl, Node.js with Axios, which is probably my favorite way to do this. So anyways, just a little tip for you. Build this out in Postman, and they'll give you the code for it.